Welcome everybody to the Bison Overtime Show. I'm Grant Hubbard alongside, instead of the super nerd, it's the super hair. It's Jack Higgins, a sports anchor, subbing in for a sick Heath Leibach tonight. Get well soon, my friend. Jack, welcome aboard.
Thanks for having me, Grant. Good to be here. I host the Bison Information Network, the sports show for them, so go check that out.
Yeah, so going into this game with South Dakota, revenge factor was big. North Dakota State had not beaten South Dakota the last two regular seasons. There was a postseason meeting that was sandwiched in there, but again, you didn't see much of the game. But going into this game, there was just a sense that what we've seen out of South Dakota wasn't great, and this Bison team has been playing so well. You just kind of figured the Bison may get some revenge in this game.
Yeah, well, I mean, you had the game last year where Bison didn't do too great, fell apart towards the end.
Yeah.
Had that play at the end, very end. I think it was like 5 seconds left in the game. Threw the touchdown, and South Dakota wins the game.
Yeah.
Not what you want to see their way, but now coming back home to the Fargo Dome, I think they had that home crowd and that fierceness in them, and then,
Tim Paulsek has had this game circled for 3 months on that schedule, and it came out on Saturday inside the Fargo. Let's show the highlights inside the Fargo Dome. 18,498 people were on hand for this game. This was a game that you just knew was going to be big. Craig Dahl's flipping the coin for the coin toss. All-American safety. First play of the game, Bryce Lance takes the jet sweep 12 yards to the NDSU 35 before DeJuan Lewis will track him down. Big first play of the game for the Bison. Next plays, 1st and 10, Cole Payton, he'll take the read option, read it beautifully for 13 yards, wrapped up by Matt Walsh, the leading tackler for South Dakota. Another first down for the Bison. And the third play that was productive for NDSU. Cole Payton lofts it to Bryce Lance, beats double coverage for 32 yards to the NDSU 11 for another Bison first down.
Yeah, the safety out in nowhere land out there.
Slow safeties, that was a factor in this game. 2nd and goal, Brika Penna leaves wreckage in his wake for a 7-yard touchdown. The Bison are on the board 7-0. That was an 8-play, 77-yard drive.
Just plowing people over. No mercy.
No mercy at all. 3 and out for USD. Cole Payton, he'll roll left on this play. I want you to watch Jackson Williams. So come into your play briefly. There he is right there. Then goes back up the field for a 35-yard completion to the NDSU 42. Wade Abrams finally tracks him out of bounds. And 3rd and 7 here. Gets outside. He beats the spy. Niall Dickel gets by him for a first down. 15 yards. Leaves him in the dust before he's hustled out of bounds.
Yeah, great scramble. Way to beat the defenders to the sideline there.
Bison staple out on 2nd and 10. The tight end, Finn Diggins, wide open for 17 yards to the USD 15. Roman Tillman. I feel bad for Roman. He'll be on this show quite a bit throughout the highlights. Now Cole Payton here in the 3rd and 6. Scrambles, he'll pick up 7 yards here to the USD 4. Nate will push him out of bounds right there, but he gets the first down.
Again, Cole Payton just using those legs of his, get those extra running yards.
And 2nd down and goal from the 1. Cole Payton right there is able to shove it across the pylon. It's 13-0 Bison. Why is it 13-0? You're going to find out here in just a second.
We call that the Bison push.
You call it the Bison push. I call this wide right.
Yikes.
Misses that one right. So it's just 13-0 Bison. It was not a key turning point in the game, however, as Aiden Bauman, not one of his best performances. 3rd down and 8, incomplete, looking for Jack Martins, and the Yotes go 3 and out again. Here's the punt from Tyler Ebel. He had a couple 50-plus yard punts in this game. This one was returnable. Jackson Williams will pick up 21 yards to the USD 46 before Dawson Sexer is able to wrestle him down to the ground. Now 4th down and 3, big play here. Cole Payton runs the RPO to perfection, picks 11 yards, gets to the USD 28 rather, for a first down. And then Payton loops this one over the middle. Rajon Nelson gets hit right there, but able to hang on for the first down and goal. So
great catch, put him in the red zone.
Great catch, gets it inside the 5, and then Brico will finish this drive off. Was hardly touched till the goal line. It's 20-0 Bison.
Once again,
early in the
contest.
contest.
Up the middle.
Break up the middle is never a bad idea. Breaking news bulletin, Jack. South Dakota's picked up a first down. There it is, their first down of the game. LJ Phillips for 18 yards, the leading rusher for running back in the conference, for his tracked down by Logan Kopp.
Yeah, about time South Dakota gets something done offensively.
But they couldn't finish it. 3rd and 6, Aiden Bauman overthrows Tyson Bowes, and that would lead to a USD punt. 1st and 10, Bryce Lance along the near sideline from Payton. What a throw here, 36 to the NDSU 36 for a first down.
Beautiful pass there, all the way to the 50-yard line. Gets rid of that punt. Just erased.
Jack, it's time to play Oklahoma Trail. DJ Scott, Roman Tillman, what's up?
Like Cam Scatterbo out there.
We're going to show this to you a couple of times because it's incredible. Well, that's the whole open. There's Roman Tillman, DJ Scott.
Bang,
Hello.
pops his helmet off.
Dom said on the broadcast, welcome to Fargo. Kyle Brandt, angry run right there. Just trucks him to the ground.
That's the Bison mentality.
That is absolutely. And here's more Bison mentality. Barika Penny will cut it outside. A little subtle cut in the hole. Roman Tillman will make the tackle. A lot of Roman Tillman highlights in this package. And that's not a good thing.
Almost seems like Roman Tillman's the only defender out there.
And Cole Payton is just a freak athlete, boys and girls. Watch him roll out. And Walter Payton leaps and hurdles his way to a first down. Matt Walsh able to make the tackle to prevent the touchdown, at least prevent the first down anyway. Then first down and goal, throws the dot to Bryce Lance. It's 27 Rip Bison.
Yeah, Cole might have to join the track team there with that hurdle play.
Maybe. He could definitely qualify with the way he plays.
Maybe we'll see him out there in the spring season.
You might. I know that guy. It's Ethan Eibach. Get well soon, buddy.
Well, he couldn't make it on the broadcast, so instead he put himself in the highlights.
Aiden Bauman, that pass, complete to Jesse Miller, but he's hauled down short of the line to gain. And the USD would punt on that possession. 2:16 to go in the half. Where do you think this pass is going to? It's Bryce Lance,
Straight
Jack.
to Bryce Lance. Who else but Bryce Lance?
Who else? Now, this is the play of the game right here, folks. 3rd and 17. This play will make your jaw drop. Watch this. Cole Payton takes off, leaves 5 Coyotes on the ground, runs for
6.
21 yards for a first down. Roman Tillman again in on the tackle.
South Dakota's taking a nap out there.
That's an understatement.
Can't make a single tackle.
Barika Penn, another 13-yard gain. DeJuan Lewis again pushes him out of bounds. They're owning South Dakota in the first half. And 3rd and 7. Fargo South alum Reese Kessel to the land of 6. His first career touchdown. 34-0 Bison.
Redshirt freshman.
Redshirt freshman.
Can see what he
all
comes up
newcomer
next.
Team, maybe. We'll talk about that later in the program.
Rest of the season, the next few years here.
Maybe, but South Dakota will get on the board just before the half. Will Leland 31-yard field goal is right down the pipe. It's 34-3 Bison at the break.
Finally, USD gets something done offensively. First points on the board for them as
Positivity. They get the second half kickoff, right?
Yeah.
Wrong. Donovan Williams blows up the tight end. Nathaniel Staling in the waiting arms, and he will score. First pick 6 for Nathaniel Staling. It's 41-3 Bison.
You would think South Dakota maybe get something started in the second half.
Not going to happen.
Nope.
Later in the third quarter, we'll pick it up here after more celebrations from the Bison. 3rd and 11, Aiden Bauman pressured by Kelton McCaslin, has to throw this one off his back foot, incomplete. Will lead to another Coyote punt.
Wisconsin 3 and outs.
2nd and 5, the Bison backyard football. Payton to Barika, who gets it to Raja, back to Payton, then to Barika. He picks up 30 yards to the USD 25. A lot more screenplay. DeJuan Lewis with the tackle. That drive would end up stalling, though. The 30-yard pass went. At least they pick up some points. Eli Ozick makes up from the missed extra point. This one from 29 as it just sneaks inside the right upright. It's 44-3. Bison. Halfway through the third. Now further in the middle of the third quarter, Aiden Bauman. Carson Fletcher, the third running back, who picked up 46 yards on this play to the NDSU 24. Darius Gibbons finally wrestles him out of bounds. First big productive play for South Dakota.
Biggest play for South Dakota comes all the way with the 6 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
Yep. 1st and 10, though, Aiden Bauman. Intentional grounding is called there. Peter Haugo will technically get a sack on that play. That was one of 3 intentional groundings, 2 of which were by South Dakota. Now 2nd and 6, pass complete to Raja Nelson. Hold on. Finally gets rid of the ball. There's Raja Nelson on the near sideline. Jackson Williams was called for a penalty, though, so that would back up the play. But it was still good enough for a first down. Now, play 36. This is one you're going to like. Cole Payton looking, then just takes off and runs with those feet. Picks up 30 yards before Mikey Munn finally rustles him out of bounds.
Beautiful speed from Cole Payton there.
I don't know who can track him down. Not many can.
Mikey
Munn definitely can't. Then the jet sweep again works. This time it's in the end zone. Omaha native Jackson Williams just gets into the end zone. It's all Bison. 51-3 at that point in the game.
A little celebration there from Jackson
Just a little
Williams.
bit. We like to see it. There's a lot of that going on.
Bison dancing, and the ref comes break it up. No fun league.
Aiden Bauman again. Pass complete to Tennell Bryant. Another big play. A lot of backups in for the Bison at this point. That's a 42-yard gain. Will Stile able to bring him down. Drive would stall for South Dakota. Zeke Mata, 51 yards off the post and good.
Just snuck it in there.
Just a bit inside. Back to 10 O'Brien, number 9. He's got world-class speed. There's 27 yards before Talon Edie finally brings him to the ground. And some productive going back to Vermillion as Carson Fletcher finds the end zone, and South Dakota finally gets on the board.
With a minute left.
With a minute left, and that was it. Bison dominate 51-13 to get to 1-0 in the conference. There's no better way to send a statement, Jack, than what they did. Just dominating a team that you've lost to the past 2 years.
No, just an absolute whoop down of South Dakota there.
Yeah. Again, your sellout crowd, that was good to see for at least a little bit there.
18,
Again, the stats kind of bear it out.
Homecoming crowd as well.
Yes, very good homecoming. Did he mention that off the top?
Forgot.
Yeah, but with NDSU, just reading the stats quick, 547 total yards, 274 rushing yards. That's the most they've had so far this year. 24 first downs. And the big thing that we talked about, that you, me, and Ethan have talked about in the past is time of possession doesn't mean everything. But for especially the last couple years, the way they've been throwing the football. But 35 minutes time of possession, you limited the snaps. It bared out in the game what happened with South Dakota. They just couldn't do anything.
Yeah, and South Dakota doesn't have the ball. Can't score. Can't complete passes. Can't pick up the first downs. Can't even make field goals. No field goals. No touchdowns.
No,
all they're doing is putting the ball away.
No.
Field goals don't do anything.
USD 296 total yards, 208 yards from Aiden Bauman, so my prediction was off there. Sorry, what are you going to do? 88 rushing yards. They held LJ Phillips, their leading rusher, to 38 rushing yards. That tells you how good they've been on the ground. Only 13 first downs. There were 2 of 9 on third down in the game. And time of possession held to 24 minutes. I mean, NDSU dominated this game.
Yeah, I mean, just a total all-around domination, like you said.
Yep. As we go into the individual stats here, Cole Walter Payton, we're going to call him. He's the front runner for that award right now. 14 of 18, 273 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 104 rushing yards and a touchdown. Again, 3 total touchdowns instead of 4. My predictions suck. I'm sorry. Barika Penu, 18 rushing attempts for 87 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. DJ Scott, 13 attempts for 50 yards and 1 helmet. We'll just tack that on for Roman Tillman. I'm sorry, buddy. He just is not your day. Bryce Lance, 4 receptions for 98 yards and a touchdown. He's the best receiver in FCS college football. I don't know how you defend him. I really don't know how you do it because the safety help we were seeing was non-existent.
I mean, you can. He's so tall and he's so fast. He just beats coverage every time.
Tough to reach. Defensively, Talon Edie actually is the leading tackler. 5 total tackles and 1 forced fumble in the game. Nathaniel Staling, the pick 6 in a TFL. He had 5 total tackles. Peter Haugo technically gets credit for 2 sacks because he had the pressure on both the intentional grounding penalties. So we'll give him 2 sacks, I guess. 2 TFLs as well. And Donovan Woolen, again, caused the pick 6 by knocking the crap out of the receiver on the tight end on that play. 4 total tackles and half a TFL. This defense is incredibly fun to watch.
I love the Code Green. It's always a fun one to see them put on a show.
Yeah.
Put a beating on each team they play, and always make the good defensive. We come up with some offensive and defensive scores, but the defensive scores, I mean, we get interceptions, forced fumbles all the time, whatnots.
It's just a good. all around well done performance by the Bison defense. Just talking about Cole Payton a little bit, just through 4 games in the Dynasty era, he has both the highest passer rating in Bison history in the Dynasty era, so that's Jensen to now, so 2011 to now, and the most passing yards. This is a running school. They want to run the football, and yet they're turning into the greatest show on turf Rams the way they've been able to throw the football.
And Cole Payton's known as more of a running quarterback, at least in my eyes. I kind of see him as I like him more in the run game, especially from last year. Use him behind Cam Miller as a kind of like a running back quarterback almost.
The question was, could he throw? Tom Matukowicz, the SEMO head coach, told us in the post-game press conference, we don't know if he could throw. Well, then he lights him up for almost 400 passing yards, and then he does this. You have to pick your poison when you're playing this Bison offense. Yeah. Either they're going to grind you out, or they're just going to throw the tactile artillery coming at you.
It's almost a question he shouldn't ask. Can he throw the ball? Of course he can throw the ball.
We're done asking that question. There's one injury note here. Ray James is a backup linebacker who's a basketball player playing football. He's been really good, though, when he has gotten into games. He could be out at least 2 weeks, or it could be a season with a shoulder, so we don't know the extent of the injury yet. But it won't be a huge loss for NDSU moving forward, but it's just something to monitor and keep an eye on. Let's go around the Valley quick, because again, they're filling in for them, so we'll highlight our games here. South Dakota State over Mercyhurst 51-7. Mercyhurst picks up their paycheck for the 2nd week in a row, losing to another Valley school. It is what it is. Montana State over Eastern Washington 57-3. The Montana State's still looking they're getting back to where they were after the loss to the Jacks, loss to the Jacks, I should say. Game we picked, Montana beat Idaho 41-30. Montana looks every bit the part of the best team in the Big Sky right now. Western Michigan over Rhode Island 47-14. Never pick the FBS team to lose unless you are very confident about it. I'm a Rhode Island guy. There's no way in hell I was picking Rhode Island to win that game. UC Davis over Weber State 34-6. Lehigh over Penn 44-30. Another game we picked, me and Ethan both got it wrong. Abilene Christian smashed by Incarnate Word 38-7. Tennessee Tech over Tennessee State. We saw Tennessee State there, nothing special. 35-8 was the final in that game. Northern Arizona beats Portland State 31-17. West Georgia comes back and beats Southern Utah 27-24. Villanova over William and Mary, I should say, 31-24. Cal Poly beats Sacramento State 32-24. And you're a varsity program, right?
Yeah, supposed to be.
Supposed to be, apparently. You're supposed to be an FBS program. Beat Cal Poly first, then come back to me on that one.
You want to play with the varsity big boys, you got to learn to win in the varsity league.
You should beat one of the worst teams in your conference. Let's put it that way. Not Lamar Jackson. Lamar beats Central Arkansas 35-32. Austin P. The Governors beats Utah Tech 42-10. Utah Tech beat Northern Iowa last week. That's a good win for them. And Presbyterian, they're now, 5-0 this year, 41 rip over Morehead State. Not the Dragons, not them, the Kentucky Morehead State, that one.
Not our neighbors.
And Ethan, I know you're sick, you're going to watch this later, but Mercer beats ETSU 38-34. Harvard beats Brown 41-7, so I'm 4-1 picks again. So this is one thing Ethan wanted to talk about. You can probably address what he said, but USD, they got killed, and yet we look in the poll this week. They are down here. They're still ranked at 21. What did Ethan say about this game?
Yeah, he had them 2-3 and 2-2 against FCS opponents. No ranked wins, and they've lost to Lamar and Iowa State.
Yeah.
Can't understand how they're still ranked at number 21 in the FCS polls this week.
Yeah, it's a pickle. It's quite a pickle why they're still in the top 25. I get the bottom half of the league is not, bottom half of FCS is, just the top 25 is not what it used to be. And they have the games coming up that they have, just you have right here. Murray State, Indiana State, Northern Iowa. They can easily get back to the playoff race if they win those next 3 games. I think they will win those next 3 games, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, the game at Murray State is a home game, and then the next 2 are both away. So
yeah.
Going to Indiana and go to Iowa. But, I mean, how are they still ranked? I mean, they played Northern Colorado. They win in overtime,
right.
Not even by a touchdown.
My thing with the Northern Colorado game is I was watching that game in the Dome when we were playing SEMO. Northern Colorado had 3 shots from the 1-yard line to win the game, and they got stuffed all 3 times. They had to kick a field goal and go to overtime. So they should only have 1 win, but it is what it is. They got smashed by the Bison. We won't see them the rest of the year. So we wish you the best, South Dakota, because you're going to need it. Let's talk about Illinois State a little bit. They're on the Bison have won the last 13 meetings against Illinois State dating back to 2011. That includes 2 playoff meetings, the 2014 title game, and the 2019 quarterfinal game inside the Fargo Dome. They're 3-1 overall this year is Illinois State. They're 3-0 against FCS opponents. They're ranked 6th in the FCS polls. Their loss is to Oklahoma, who apparently you're a fan of.
I am. Go Sooner, Boomer Sooner.
Is it why? Because your mom, right?
My mother, yes.
Yeah, your mother's an Oklahoma Sooner fan. I feel bad for her the last couple of years. Morehead State, they beat them 41-13. They gave up 30 in a win to Eastern Illinois. That's not going to look great. And they should have lost before the bye to North Alabama. Where all North Alabama had to do, kick one through the posts, and they win it in regulation. They miss the extra point. It doinked off the upright, and North Alabama couldn't overcome that. They lost in overtime to the Redbirds. They're a tough team to figure out. They're ranked in the top 10, but they look a lot like South Dakota in my mind. I don't know how you feel about it, but that's how the way I feel about it.
Yeah.
Brock Spack, in his 17th head coach, he is now the dean of the Missouri Valley Football Conference. He's been the head coach there for 17 seasons in Normal. After the departures of Bob Nielsen and Mark Farley in Northern Iowa, he becomes the longest tenured coach. But to get a pulse on what is going on in Normal, here's my conversation with Jaden Cohn. I talked to him a couple days ago of the Vedette student newspaper in Illinois State. Here's my conversation with Jaden Cohn. Okay, what is the feeling around campus for this kick in Normal Saturday night?
This game is going to be very electric. I mean, it's the town of the talk, like, for real, because it's the probably the biggest match I'll say since 2015. Going back to that national championship game, you have the number one ranked team coming to town. It's going to be a great game, and I mean, I like to say I have high hopes, but realistically, I feel like North Dakota State is just going to kick their butt like they did last homecoming game. But it's the vibes are really strong right now here in
Yeah, it was
Normal.
42-10 last year, so we'll see how that goes. How would you describe Illinois State football through the first couple of games?
They've looked honestly really well. I mean, looking back to last week, they played against North Alabama, and 5 hours and 55 minutes was the entire extent of that game.
Yep.
It was you battled through two lightning delays, and then you went to double overtime where they just barely squeaked out a win, going for a 2 point conversion, and were successful on that. It's just they had their ups and downs. Rittenhouse got injured in the beginning of the season, so he came back against their Eastern Illinois game, and he's just looked fantastic. Picked up where he left off last season, and it's just been great seeing that offensive click, and the defensive has been good as well.
Who are the key players been for Illinois State so far? Because Winkers Wright's been one of the better backs in the conference this year. Mason King's working his way back from an injury. So other than Rittenhouse, who would you say has been those key guys for the Redbirds so far?
For receiving core, it's definitely going to be Daniel Sopkowitz is going to be your primary target to look out for, and then Luke Maylander has been the guy that's really stepped up for Xavier Lloyd, who had hit the transfer portal, went to Mizzou this past offseason. So Luke Maylander, a sophomore from Yorkville Community High School here in Illinois, he's just been tremendous. He scored last week against North Alabama, and he's really been Rittenhouse's number two target.
Who would you say are the key guys defensively, other than Ty Niekamp, your Walter, no, Walter Payton, but Buchanan Award contender there on defense? Who else should we be looking for on defense?
It's going to be Shadwell Nakuba. He's just been tremendous, coming away with four straight games of interceptions. The pass defense so far has not been the best, but when you come away with four straight games of interceptions, that's definitely a positive note to take away. But the Redbirds have definitely struggled in the past game. Like I said, they've allowed a lot of passing yards through the air to their opponents, but that's something I'm going to definitely talk to Coach Spack about in his conference like an hour away. So I definitely want to know what his strat is for cleaning up that defense.
Yeah, what are the keys, do you think, for Illinois State in this game? Like, what has to happen if they're going to spoil them, if they're going to be successful on Saturday night?
They have to nail down everything head to toe. They've got to clean up the errors. They can't let away a lot of those big long throws that I know North Dakota State is really good at. Is those long throws. You have a really good quarterback, and I think the corners need to cover their receivers well. They looked pretty good with the run defense so far. So just establishing that strong run defense and pass defense, as well as on the offensive side, they definitely need to pick up where they left off. And Rittenhouse needs to find his targets cleanly. He can't risk that many errors because a team like North Dakota State is really keen at making them pay on the offensive side.
You got score prediction for this one? We're going to do an article this week, but do you have one on top of your head right now?
I just looked over the score prediction you put as 42-17.
Yeah.
I like to say it's going to be a definitely high scoring game. I'll stick with 35 to 24. North
Okay.
Dakota State takes this one.
Okay. Uh, now I'm high on Illinois State. I have them as a possible top five seed at the end of the season in our hot takes thing we've done a couple weeks ago. How far do you see Illinois State getting in the postseason? Do they get seeded even? I think they're a top five maybe. Where do you see Illinois State in the grand scheme of things in FCS football this year?
I definitely think they're keen to get seeded as well. Last season they advanced. They beat SEMO in the opener, and then they fell short to UC Davis. So this team, they brought a lot of talent back, and if they clean up the mistakes, they definitely can stick into possibly, I want to say maybe like a top five-ish team in the nation. Like right now, they're ranked sixth, but they're
Yep.
coming off a bye week, so that should maybe that'll be a little bit of an impact this game because North Dakota State did play this week, but you smacked your opponent like you do every week. But I definitely want to. It'll be a tough one to watch, but it'll be a fun one as well.
I said Illinois State would lose 2 conference games. I think I said I'm losing 1 conference game, and it was this one. It's this one. I think for you, it's this game, and then it's against South Dakota State. Those are the 2 games I'm looking at with Illinois State in terms of, okay, if they split these 2 games or even win one of them, that's going to determine if they could be a top 8, maybe top 5 seed, because Montana and Montana State are going to be those other 2 teams. So we'll see how good Illinois State is in the grand scheme of things moving forward.
Again, thanks to Jaden for doing that. I taped that yesterday with him, and I'll be on his radio show tonight. So again, we tape this on Wednesday, so Wednesday night I'll be on with him. Again, thanks to him for doing that. I really appreciate that. We have an article coming out on the Vidette and the Spectrum. It will be kind of a preview for the game. That'll come out here on Thursday or Friday, so be on the lookout for that article. Tommy Rittenhouse is the quarterback for Illinois State. Only 97 passes thrown, 58 of which were completed for just over 650 yards, 59.8 completion percentage, 8 TDs, 1 pick, not bad. Averages about 163 passing yards a game. He's not the best of quarterbacks, but he's a very productive quarterback in that, right? Wenker's right as a starting running back, great name. 51 carries, 300 rushing yards, and 4 touchdowns. He's the lead back because Mason King, their stud back, is still hurt from a torn ACL suffered at Iowa last year. They're working him back in the rotation. So we'll see if Mason King plays at all in that game. Daniel Sobkowitz is the leading receiver. Had another touchdown catch last week, 2 weeks ago. 23 receptions, 329 yards, 5 receiving touchdowns. He's by far their best offensive weapon. 2 guys on defense who want to highlight. Shadwell Nakuba II has 4 interceptions. He had 2 interceptions against North Alabama. And Ty Niekamp is their stud Buck Buchanan Award watch list guy. 20 tackles, 20 solo, I should say, 43 total. He's their Logan Kopp. He's the guy who makes everything happen on that defense. But here's where they struggle. They give up 28 a game. Now you say, so what? But they gave up 30 to Eastern Illinois, and they gave up 30 plus North Alabama. That's a warning sign going into this game, I think, anyway.
Yeah, now they come and give up 50 to us. They're going to give up 50 to us, 50 to us.
Well, let's see, because they gave up 42 last year. So we'll see how that – it was 42 to 10 last year. So we'll see how that plays out on the field on Saturday night in Normal. They score 31 a game, about 186 yards on the ground. They allow 95. That's pretty low considering what you see in the Valley, which is a lot of running the football. So holding their opponents under 95 is pretty good on the year. They 384 total yards per game, which is very, very good. But here's the thing. They allow over 300 yards per game through the air. When you're going against Bryce Lance, Chris Harris, Mekhi Collins, Jackson Williams, Rajah Nelson, you might pay for that.
Yeah, some of the best receivers in the FCS.
They happen to be on one team. Yeah.
Exactly, we love them.
They're 36% on third down as well, which is bad. That's worse than what USD was, and they went 2 of 9 on third down inside the Fargo Dome. They are 8 of 12 on capitalizing in the red zone, so that's good, and they're +4 in the turnover margin. So they're very opportunistic when they get turnovers and to turn them into points. The Bison don't turn the ball over. They only have 2 turnovers, and they're both interceptions thrown by backup quarterbacks. Yeah. So if you're looking to defeat off turnovers, that's just something the Bison just don't do. Let's go into our keys for a Bison win. What's the first one for us?
So first key we got is got to keep Cole Payton rolling. Illinois State's pass defense is not very strong. Their run defense is their strength, but as long as they let Cole Payton air the ball out, I think we can get a good win.
Again, as we've said, 300 yards per game through the air they allow per game. What's Ethan's second
key? And then we got contain Rittenhouse, so he's not a pocket passer. He's only dangerous outside the pocket line. We keep him contained inside the pocket. I believe we can get.
He can beat you
win.
with his feet. He can beat you with his feet. He's a decent quarterback. In the games we've seen him play last year, he was very good against the bottom teams in the Valley. So he played against Western Illinois, 201 yards. Eastern Illinois, 228. He played against Murray at 347 passing yards. But when he played against, NDSU, $132, UND, 187, Missouri State, 79 passing yards.
Keep him contained in the
if
pocket.
you keep him contained, you got a shot. They got a great shot to really put it on Illinois State. What's number 3?
Can't handle the pressure. Number 3, we got stuff the power run game. So they have an old school offense. Got to pound it right up the gut. Just get Furious in that line there and get stopping them.
Yeah, Illinois State, they're going to run the football. Winker's right. He's a good physical running back. And again, but the Bison have not allowed more than 60 rushing yards in a game this season. Again, we've seen a lot of passing offenses, but they held L.J. Phillips to 38 rushing yards for South Dakota. He's been their guy this year. He's over 700 rushing yards this season. So holding him to 38, I got a pretty good feeling they're going to shut the running game down. It's can they handle Sobkowitz on the outside? What do we got for number 4?
Number 4, we got to win the turnover battle. So Illinois State's +4 in the turnover margin. They love to feed off turnovers. Like you said, North Dakota doesn't like to turn the ball over, so don't believe that they're going to get really much off of turnovers.
Yeah, North Dakota State only 2 turnovers all year. They're both interceptions by the backup quarterbacks. It's not something I'm all that concerned about. And again, they just don't turn the ball over that much. If you get the Bison turn the ball over more than once, you can bless your lucky stars that you got that far. It just comes down to if the Bison hold on to the ball, and if they can get the tip pass like they did on Bauman or just get a fumble or two, they'll be right back where they should be on defense. What about number 5?
Next, we got to know where Ty Niekamp is at all times. He's basically, like you said, like their Logan Kopp, Jackson Hankey. He's a playmaker on the defensive side of the ball. He's going to be one of their most physical players on the defensive side. Got to keep an eyes out, scout where he's at all times.
You got to know where he is at all times. He's gonna be what. It wouldn't surprise if he ends up spying Cole Payton as well. South Dakota didn't have the personnel to spy him. Illinois State does. So that'll be something that we look at as we head into Saturday night. Ethan, this is supposed to be his week for do the hot takes and predictions. Well, he did 5 anyway, so what do we got for his hot takes? What's number 1?
Oh, so the first hot take we have is Cole Payton getting drafted in the 2026 draft, and kind of energy we were having with Carson Wentz back in 2015. We started hearing about this a few weeks ago and having a shot at he's been creeping off the draft boards quite a little bit.
Yeah, I think with Cole Payton, what we've seen I've seen on Twitter or X or whatever we call it these is what you call it. What we've seen is he's a better version of Tim Tebow. Now again, Tebow played in the SEC for Florida. He played a much better competition than what Cole Payton is here. But he's a lefty, he runs like the wind, and he's deadly accurate, which is something that Tim Tebow isn't. So could I see somebody taking a flyer on Payton in like the 6th, 7th round, maybe make him a tight end or something? Yeah, I think that's a feasible possibility. What do we got for the second hot take?
So next we got Montana going 12-0, the easiest schedule that Ethan has ever seen. He says their one test at Montana State is at home.
Yeah, the thing with Montana, they have 8 home games. 8. So the athletic director at Montana, you should be getting a raise, my friend, because that's impressive that they have 8. And they have the ranked win against North Dakota. That's going to be big when we get to Selection Sunday. They have the win over Idaho. They play Idaho State this weekend. The remaining schedule is as follows. Cal Poly, Sacred Heart, JV Sacramento State, on national television, by the way, Weber State, Eastern Washington, Portland State. And that's before the game with the Bobcats. They should be undefeated going into the Montana State game. Here's the thing with the Montana State rivalry. The game has not been close between these two teams since 2018. So this game, it's a big rivalry game, but you can tell early on that one team is just going to be better than the other, and I think that's what we're going to see from Montana. I think they are better than Montana State this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
What we got for number 3?
Next we got Reese Kessel being all MVFC newcomer. He looks like Noah Gindorf, but with speed. Don't be surprised if he gets more catches moving forward.
Yeah, I think that's an easy slam dunk. I think he's going to be. We had questions going into this season about how good the tight end room was because it was Carson Williams who's coming off an injury, Finn Diggins who hadn't done anything in the previous 3 years. It was Kessel, and then it was like Jet Zabel and Gabriel Cunningham who are just young and don't have the experience yet. Kessel is a guy who can stretch. He's had, I think, 6 catches. 5 of them are at least of 30 yards down the field. His average is like 17 yards a catch. Like, you want to get the ball in space to a guy over the middle, that's the guy you're going to. I think Ethan's dead on here. They're going to be a very good team moving forward. What do we got for 4? A good player moving forward, I should say.
Next we have Monmouth being a quarterfinalist. The CAA is a joke, and Monmouth will likely be a 9-10 seed, but if they get the right matchup, don't be surprised to see them in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, Monmouth is living off of the last of what the CAA used to be. Because remember, the CAA used to have Delaware when New Hampshire was really good. James Madison was still FCS, and they were really good. But those teams are all gone, and we're left to North Carolina A&T, Hampton, just a lot of bad teams that should not be in the CAA. So Monmouth, led by Derek Robertson, who's another guy who could win the Peyton this year. Deadly passing offense that they have. Monmouth, they're not going to wow anybody defensively, but they can definitely outscore you in a game if they get the right matchup, like Ethan said. So I think he's right on with this one.
Yeah.
What do we got for 5?
And the last hot take from Ethan, we got Harvard being the first Ivy League school to make the FCS playoffs. They've been impressive so far in the Ivy League, could even win a playoff game.
Harvard has been the class of the Ivy League the last couple of years. If the playoffs were a thing, if they were allowed to play in the playoffs the last couple of years, they would get the automatic bid. They've been really good in the Ivy League lately, and now with the rule change, they're allowed to play in it. Now, Don Mizzo has 7 WDY. They could be a quarterfinalist kind of team. I don't know if I believe that, but I think they are definitely good enough to win, and they could win a game, I think, moving into the FCS playoffs. So it's kind of a wait-and-see thing with Harvard. I think they can be good, but we just need to hold the horses, pump the brakes, and let's give it time on that one. So moving forward here, our top 10s, Ethan posted his, I'll post mine here first. Bison at 1, South Dakota State 2, Tarleton 3, Montana 4. The way they've played, yell at the wall. They've been so good in the Big Sky so far. Montana State 5th. Begrudgingly, UND is the 6th best team in the country. I don't like it, but you got to admit when they're good, and they're very good this year. Lehigh at 7. I got Rhodey at 8. Davis at 9. I'm going to keep Illinois State in the top 10. They didn't play well their last time out, but I think they're good enough to stay in the top 10. Jack, what does Ethan have for this week?
Ethan, obviously, NDSU at number 1, dominating everybody like normal. Then we got SDSU 2, beat Montana State and taking care of everybody else.
Yep.
Got Tarleton 3rd, 5-0 with an FBS win.
Against Army, yep.
Against Army, but the FBS is looking less impressive by the weeks.
Yep.
Number 4, we got Montana, has dominated everybody except for North Dakota, dominated Idaho.
Yep.
5, we got Montana State. They've had their ups and downs, but when they're up, they do look legit.
Absolutely.
I think they're a solid team.
Yep.
6, we have Southern Illinois. They've really looked dangerous on their offense. They have a questionable defense, however. Not sure it's steady. 7, we have UND, North Dakota. They're in prove it this mode this week, traveling to UNI.
Let me just say one thing.
Cedar Falls.
Let me say one thing.
Go ahead.
UND, they are one of the best home teams. I told you this in our meeting briefly. They're one of the best home teams that the NCAA has ever seen playing football. But they struggle on the road. They lost because they were 5-7 last year. They're likely a playoff team if they win 2 games. Youngstown and Indiana State. They lost them both on the road, and that decided their playoff hopes last year. They have to win in Cedar Falls this weekend.
You can't be doing that. You can't be losing
Let's
games.
finish out his top 10.
Number 8, we have UC Davis. Ever since their FBS loss, they've scored a ton of points and look very good.
Yep.
Number 9, we have Tennessee Tech. They've looked good against poor opponents, but good teams have to take care of bad teams. And then number 10, we have Leahy. They've looked better than teams like Idaho, even with poor conference schedule.
Lehigh, but I'll cut you some slack. It's all right. Me and him go back and forth on Tennessee Tech a lot. I'm not big on Tennessee Tech, but he is, so it is what it is. Now let's go to our picks. Me and Ethan's picks. Jack not picking the games, of course. So we pick our games for this week. Incarnate Word at Stephen F. Austin. Austin P heads to West Georgia. Northern Arizona against Montana State in that one. And then we got 2 Valley games to finish out. 24th ranked Youngstown State against South Dakota State. That game is a night game at Stambaugh Stadium in Youngstown. And then the Bison and Illinois State. For this first game here with Austin P and West Georgia, Incarnate Word and Stephen F. Austin, excuse me. I'm going to go with the Word here. They're starting to rebound. They lost to Northern Arizona last week, but they're getting better. They were ranked 4th to start the season. They've slipped down a little bit. They're getting better. I'm going with the Word. What does Ethan say about this game?
Yeah, Ethan is well going to take the Word on this one. All
right. Next game here, we got Northern Arizona going against, I'm all over the board. Austin P and West Georgia. Man, I'll figure this out at some point. From me here, what do I have for this game? I'm trying to figure what I have. I have West Georgia in this game. I picked Austin P last week, I believe, and it did not work out for me. In West Georgia, they burned me once. I'm not going to pick against them again. I'm going to go with West Georgia in this game.
Yeah, Ethan's actually going to go against you. Pick Austin P this week.
Yep.
He has it as a toss-up, but they seem like a more built team, just a solid foundation around them.
He flips against me, and he's always wrong. So we'll see what happens in that game.
He has a losing record, so.
He has a winning record, but barely. In the games they get, in the turnover games or those toss-up games we picked, he is.
Sorry, the losing record to you.
Yeah, he's 88 out the gate. He's 11-9. What am I? 14-6.
16
and 4. I'm better than I thought I was. Northern Arizona, Montana State. This is a close game. It's at Northern Arizona at the Walk-Up Sky Dome. I'm going with the Bobcats. I trust him a lot more than I trust Northern Arizona, and I'll read Ethan's reasoning here. The only reason he's picking Montana State, Northern Arizona beat Portland State by 14. Portland State is horrible. They didn't score a point for the first 3 weeks of the season. They are god-awful. And only winning by 14, I agree with him here. Seemed like a little fraudulent in our minds, so we're both going to take Montana State going into this game. Let's move on. Youngstown, South Dakota State. I'm going to go with the Jacks. Until I see otherwise, I have the Jacks losing 2 conference games. This is not one of them, however. I'm going to take South Dakota State in this one.
Yeah, Ethan has South Dakota State as well. He doesn't think Youngstown State has the ability of the trenches to compete. Believes SDSU is going to dominate Youngstown.
I'm with him on that one. And the final game, the game we're going to pick, Illinois State, North Dakota State. The game is 6 o'clock kickoff in Normal on ESPN+. I'm going with the Bison again. The way they have looked, and according to the FCS Sportsbook online that I've seen, they're a 20-point road favorite. Now that's not an official line yet, but 20 points on the road against a team you have owned in the Valley. They've won 13 consecutive games. Give me the Bison. Give me the Bison big. We'll give our score predictions in a second, but I like them big time here.
Yeah, Ethan has the Bison as well. Obviously, Illinois State's defense is questionable, like we said, and Bison offense should dominate. And MV, what is it, the Missouri Valley
Football Conference. Yep.
The MVFC game of the week this week.
Yep.
ESPN Plus, 6 p.m. in Illinois.
It's not WDAY. Don't call the station. They don't like that. Just don't do it. Okay? We're just going to say it once. Dom, do not call Dom. It's okay. The game's in ESPN Plus. You can live with it for 1 week. The game will also be on the radio on Bison 1660. Ethan has 42-14 going into this game in favor of the Bison. I have 42-17. I think Illinois State does score a couple times, but they're not going to be able to match up, I believe, on the defensive side of the ball. What do you got for this game?
I got 49-14. I just think Illinois State's not going to get anything really done offensively, and the Bison are just going to put them to bed.
Hopefully put them to bed. Maybe that student section will thin out like a lot of Bison home games. They'll be gone by the second quarter.
Nighttime game. Yeah. Put them to bed.
Yeah, let's hope so. I appreciate you filling in for Ethan tonight.
This was
a lot of fun. So we'll wrap the show up here. For Jack Higgins, our entire crew in the back, I'm Grant Harper. This has been the Bison Overtime Show. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week. Horns up and go Bison.